Welcome back to the Love to Live Healthy show. I'm your co-host, Josephine Fitzpatrick, author of Cheat Day Rules and Shed the Pounds, both available on Amazon. I'm a nutrition, wellness, and transformation expert and co-owner of Innovation Healthy Market in Woodbury, New York, alongside my son and co-host, Jake Fitzpatrick. At Innovation Healthy Market, we've been helping thousands of clients all over the world live healthier, happier lives. And for the past 14 years, our store at 8025 Jericho Turnpike in Woodbury has been open 7 days a week, offering hundreds of freshly prepared healthy meals and snacks. The best part, you don't have to be a client to shop with us. We welcome everyone. We have customers from all over Long Island who visit daily, and we also ship tri-state, offer free Long Island delivery every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and even hand delivered to New York City every Tuesday. Plus, we're on Uber Eats 7 days a week. So if you're looking to lose weight, introduce wellness, or simply eat healthier, come visit us. Everything is made fresh daily, from high protein, low carb, gluten-free, sugar-free, plant-based vegan, and keto meals, and of course our famous detox program. Our team is always available to help you one-on-one when you walk in. We'll guide you, answer your questions, and help you get exactly what you need. For more information on our meals, deliveries, weight loss programs, please visit innovationhealthymarket.com or follow us on Instagram at Innovation Weight Loss. And now I'm here with Jake Fitzpatrick. Good morning, Jake.
Good morning.
And today's title is actually, or topic, I should say, is actually from a client who DM'd me. Yeah. And she said she lost the weight, but she doesn't like how she looks. And, you know, she believes it's from age, and she wanted to know, can she build muscle at any age? And you definitely can. You
Absolutely.
can definitely build muscle at any age. You know, when
Absolutely.
you're when you're over 50, it definitely takes longer. I know for women. For men, I think it could be any age, depending on your testosterone, right?
Yeah, it's not only that. It's not only your testosterone level as a man, but it's also just basic like hormone balances. So, you know, like here's what's actually happening. Like when you build your muscle, you're literally creating new, think about it like, you know, like tiles. So like you're literally creating new tiles of tissue. So like the analogy that I love from one of my favorite people of all time, he talks about it this way. So at any age that it's the same.
For men and women?
For men and women. Any age that's the same for men and women. Think about it like this. You have a piece of sandpaper and you scrape your hand a lot. What's going to happen?
Bleed.
You're going to start to bleed. So, you know, the next day you go to scrape your hand again. Your hand's like, you know, already dried, bloody. It's probably starting to callous a little bit. You go to scrape your hand again. It's going to bleed again. It's not going to repair itself if you keep scraping. Like your muscles. It's not going to repair itself and grow like the skin would grow back if you keep abusing it every single day. So it has nothing to do with the amount that you work out. It's all about, you know, how you actually prioritize it. And whatever age you're at and whatever, you know, like, you know, your starting weight, whatever, everybody's body's, you know, the same when it comes to those building blocks. It just might take, you know, a couple extra things here and there. But you're literally creating new tiles of tissue through the tension, metabolic stress, muscle damage. You know, if you stress the muscle, it breaks it down, it'll grow back. Maybe not at the rate as like a, you know, 21-year-old kid or a, you know, 16-year-old kid where his testosterone's, you know, at its peak of his life, but it's still going to grow. It's just a matter of how fast. That's the only question.
Right.
So along with that, you know, the difference in training maybe, you know, like if you're a, you know, a younger kid and you're 16 to 18 years old and you're like, and you're, you know, they call it like a fast twitch, you know, dynamic. So like you're more like explosive rather than like someone in their late 50s or late 60s. You know, you're going to do something that's more stagnant. So like, you know, lower weight, more reps, like, you know, walking, you know, like maybe like speed walking with weight resistance, anything that puts weight on your bones.
Right.
So the biggest thing is always like I think we talked about it in a earlier episode where it was like if you're at an older age and you have an injury, like it's more actually damaging because of your bone density and everything.
Right, exactly.
So that's why it's so important for people to keep
their
being
muscle.
active
Yeah,
later
exactly.
in life, because it makes a big difference. So like that's actually an answer right there. Is like
it is, and I think like when she had asked it, because she, this is what happens, especially with women. We're designed to have fat on our bodies. You know, it's to protect when we have pregnancies and everything.
Of course, yeah.
And so we have a lot less muscle, and we lose muscle much faster than men, which is why men lose weight so much faster than women, because they have so much more muscle.
Yep.
But the point is, when you're losing weight, if you're not working out correctly as you get older. Now, a lot of times when you lose weight when you're younger, it doesn't make as much of a difference. But when you lose weight when you're older, if you're not working out, that's when I call it skinny fat, because it's literally everything's going to hang. You're not going to feel like, your body looks the way you want it to look. Plus, you don't even know where you're losing the weight. So, like, you could lose it. It redistributes as you get older. So you may have more in your stomach, but your legs are really thin now.
Yeah,
where
exactly.
you used to be opposite.
Yeah.
And I think really what I would say to answer her question is, yes, any age you can build muscle. You'll lose it a lot faster, so you have to work a lot harder to build it. You have to do heavier weights for women. Like you can't really do like a 2 or 3 pounder and expect a result from that. You have to do like a 10 pound, work your way up to it. Don't just go into it. You won't be able to lift your arms next day, which I've done. But work up to that 10 pound, 12 pound weight, because that's what's really going to build the muscle. And when you build the muscle, it's going to fill that space where your skin is hanging, I think it's really important to make sure you have the proper protein, because the protein is what also helps build the muscle.
Of course.
And I think a big thing for women is the elasticity of your skin.
Yes.
And if it's not hydrated, you're going to feel like it's crepey and it's loose.
It's what?
Crepey. Crepey skin. Listen, you have to be a woman to understand that. Every woman right now knows what I'm talking about.
I don't want to eat PBJ bites now.
No, it's literally like a crepey look.
I got you.
Yeah. And people talk about it all the time. They ask me all the time. You have to stay hydrated, not just with water. This is a huge thing. And if you're listening and you're really struggling with this, I'm going to tell you what to do. You have to do oil. And believe it or not, one of the best things to do is olive oil. And, they sell all these oils online, but olive oil is one of the best things. You come out of the shower, you put it all over your body, and you literally rub it in. It really, your body soaks it in, but the hydration of that is what actually helps the skin. That's why, it's huge in Italy. But you see, like, people always say like Italian skin. That's why. You have to use the olive oil. It's so, it has to be 100% pure olive oil.
Yep.
And when you come out of the shower, and you have to put it on, and it has to be consistent. You can't do it once and be like,
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm telling you, you're going to notice the difference right away.
Absolutely.
It works so well.
And also too, the one thing that it's like I guess like another pet peeve of mine, but like the number one thing is to, like, whenever a client that is a woman, like, wants to obviously fix that problem, I always recommend the working with weights.
Yes.
But the number one contrary to my point is always, I don't want to be bulky though.
Well, that's the problem. You have to still eat less.
But you still have to eat less is right. So it's funny how people really truly don't understand, how hard it is to build muscle in the first place as a woman.
Right.
Because clearing up this whole myth, which is, if you lift weights, you'll be bulky. It's not a myth, because it is true. If you eat a lot, you will be bulky. But if you're in a calorie deficit like you are while you're on program, you're having less calories than you're used to. So your body's burning fat.
Portions are
while
smaller.
you're keeping your muscle under tension. It's literally growing. So, you're not going to become bulky because you're losing weight.
Lean and thin.
You're going to be lean, and then that's where the idea of lean muscle comes in, because that's what's going to fill the loose skin.
Exactly.
And then you'll have toned.
So let me ask you a question. Why do you think, and I know the answer to this, I'm just putting it out there.
Okay. Is this a pop
why
quiz?
it's kind of a quiz. Why do you think they feel like they get bulky?
What do you mean?
What happens? Like, what do they do? What happens when you work out all the time?
Me?
Anybody. What happens when you work out? What's the first thing that happens?
You get a pump.
Yeah, but what else? Like mentally? You feel hungry.
Oh, well, yeah.
So immediately, this is where the whole thick and bulky comes in, because they're like, but I worked out today. So I had to eat more. I was hungry. I'm like, you're supposed to be hungry. You're losing weight. Like, you're trying to lose weight. And one of the hardest things is, listen, it's one thing if you're at your, like, you look great. Like, if you work out and you're hungry and you eat, you're fine. You're maintaining, you know?
But I'm also a guy.
But you're a guy. But, okay, so me, I'm not trying to lose weight.
Yeah.
So, like, when I work out and I'm hungry, if I have an extra snack, I'm fine. I'm maintaining. I'm not trying to lose weight. When I was trying to lose weight, I ate less and worked out. Now, I have a lot of clients right now. One came in my office today, and you know who it is. And she looks better than she's ever looked. But it's hard, and it's hard work because she's keeping to her program.
Yep.
And she's working out. And that's one of the hardest things to do, both at the same time.
But you know what's crazy?
People either just eat less or they exercise a ton. They don't do both.
Yeah. But you know what's crazy is it's crazy because just from an outside perspective of me, they don't even understand. Like, I see the change so rapidly because they started working out.
Right.
Like, you see them come in and it's like, wow, like, not only do you look thin, like you look
fit.
Like you're literally looks like you're
younger,
like fit
everything.
now.
Yeah.
Everything.
But the thing is, it's not just the working out. It's you have to eat less.
Yep.
And I say it all the time. Listen, we own a food store and we're telling people to eat less. It's
That's
like
the key too.
It's like you have to do both. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. If you're working out and it's making you hungry, you have to deal with that, and you have to be okay with it, because if you overeat, yes, I don't care who you are, you will get thick.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, it's like that quote where it's like, what is it? It's like 90% of building muscle is done in the kitchen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
Something like that. It's like 85 or 90, something like that. But the interesting thing is too, going back to your point about the difference between men and women, obviously, when talking about either losing weight, gaining muscle, the most interesting thing to me that I love reading about is just, like you said, like the testosterone, the estrogen levels and everything, because naturally, like in anybody's body, but especially just talking about men right now, like when your testosterone goes up, naturally your estrogen wants to go up too. And that's when you typically run into problems like, you know, men retaining more fat, or, you know, men having like side effects of like, you know, having a high testosterone level, because your estrogen, you know, is like, oh, I want to come up too. So it does. But of course, estrogen is more of a, you know, a female hormone.
Right.
So that's why men typically have things like, you know, love handles, like, you know, quote unquote
bellies.
Love handles, the bellies in the front, the gynecomastia, you know, anything like that. And, you know, that's typically why working out is great, because then your muscle starts growing, you're losing fat, and it's always, and I've gone through it too, Joey especially, you know, why is it that the love handles and the side fat is like the hardest to lose? You know, it's frustrating, but it's because of internal things, like being a man, being a woman.
Right.
Like you said, women obviously retain fat easier, and it's harder to lose. It's like, never be discouraged, really, because that's just something that is because you're, you know, a man or a woman. And on top of it too, it's like, you know, it's like I don't want to, how do I say it? Like, on top of it too, like, a man has about almost, I believe it's like 100 times as much testosterone as a woman does. So of course, like, if you start working out, you're probably going to see results quicker too. But
of course,
for a woman, it's like, I think it's like one.
And women have that much more estrogen, you know?
Yeah, but it's also like they have like 1/12, I mean, something like stupid, the amount of testosterone a guy does. So again, it's a little unfair, but you just have to work harder.
And that's the thing. And listen, the thing is, though, like most, I shouldn't say, I'm not going to say all women, because everyone has different looks, you know? And I appreciate everyone's look. I really do. I see women who are super, super muscular. Like, obviously, like maybe they're taking a supplement or whatever. But my point is, most women don't want that because they don't want that much muscle.
Yep.
You know, like you can build muscle that's 3 times the size of me because of that.
Yeah, yeah. And also, too, I mean, just like with the fat, like, you know, like I said before, men tend to store fat, you know, around the abdomen, like the love handle area. You know, when dieting, they lose fat faster because that visceral fat is metabolically active, you know, and through that, it responds quicker to, you know, like even when you're a man and when you're working out, that boosts your testosterone.
Right.
So when that boosts your testosterone, that's also, you know, telling your body, hey, burn more.
Right.
You know? So
exactly.
then on top of that, and then women, you know, they store more, you know, more fat around areas like, you know, the hips, the thighs, you know, the
Especially
lower areas,
after
stuff
menopause,
like that.
yeah.
And,
Or
you know,
even-
estrogen, one of the key things about that is its protective effects make it actually harder to mobilize fat from those areas. So then even no matter how hard you work out, it's not going to actually get rid of most of it.
It
Takes a
yeah.
long chip away period of time.
And there are specific things you have to do. Like I say it all the time, like if you are looking to lose fat like that, you have to throw in a lot of cardio. You know, but the thing is, like, and again, back to this question, she said, how does she build muscle?
Yes.
So you really want to add more protein.
Yep.
You know, I would say do an extra protein snack a day. Even if you can't at this point, if you want to build the muscle, don't worry so much about the number on the scale fluctuating, because the more weights that you lift, the heavier they are. You're only going to get to a certain size because you're still sticking to your program. So if you have like that one extra protein snack, or you're maintaining, because look, she said she lost her weight. So now you're maintaining. So add that extra snack in, but just add that extra workout in.
Yep.
You know, more days a week, heavier weights.
Yep.
You have to build the muscle, and it takes time, but you also have to feed the muscle. So do the protein drink, or do the protein like the apple and peanut butter, or the PBJ bites, whatever. And once you start giving your body that consistent extra protein, because you're not worried about losing anymore, you're maintaining, you're not going to have to worry about that. You're not going to gain from that because you're adding in the extra workouts. And that in return is going to give you more muscle definition. And when you have more muscle definition, it's going to make you feel better about how your body looks.
Absolutely.
You know?
Because remember, your muscles are, you know, literally being built by you. So in order to build something, you know, you need the materials, you need the bricks, you need the concrete, you need the everything.
Exactly.
You need the protein. That's one of the building blocks of it. You need BCAAs, you need, you know, amino acids and stuff like that. Everything that you can get that can help build it. But you know what's one of the most interesting things I actually read was, crazy enough, I didn't even know this until I read it, being honest, but like for women, and this can probably help towards this question, but so I feel like for women especially, because men can obviously just get up and go to the gym and that starts right there. For women, if you want to track your progress, one of the most important things is knowing your body, knowing your physiology, and knowing your hormones. Because hormones, when they fluctuate, they aggressively impact performance, they impact weight loss, they impact, you know, your everything.
Yeah.
So along with that, did you know about the two things called the follicular phase and the luteal phase, which is actually hormones fluctuate more during a woman's menstrual cycle. So the follicular phase, which is the first days to the typically I believe it's the 12th or 13th or 14th day. So your estrogen rises, which actually increases your strength during that time period. When your strength is increased, it actually causes your energy to rise too, as well as your endurance. So that's a great time for what I would call, you know, your personal PRs. So kind of know your body, know your physiology, so then you can actually take advantage of it. So then you don't actually, you know, dump back on yourself and say, oh, I just don't have it, and then you treat yourself like a failure.
Right.
No, you're not a failure. You just know your body.
Now, when does that happen? When does that take place?
So that's the first, I believe, 12 or 14 days of the menstrual cycle.
Okay.
And then following that, once the 15th, 16th day hits to the, you know, the 30-day mark, you know, your what's called progesterone it actually increases, which means your core temperature increases as well, which also means your recovery slows down. So that means you're not going to probably make as much progress as you would in the first, 12, 15 days. But that's why I'm saying give yourself that excuse at least, because it's literally your body telling you like, hey, like I just don't have it right now.
Right.
There's nothing you can do about that, but just know that's the reason why. So the point is, and that's better for, okay, I'm in the, later stages of this cycle. So I'll just, keep it to, deloading or lighter training.
Right.
Like, I'll just de-intensify this week. But you're still active. You're still doing something. So it's always important to know, set up your period, prioritize, your physiology of your body so then it coincides with your progress.
Which is very true. I did know that, I would tell people when it comes to weight loss, the week after your menstrual cycle, which would be the 30 mark, which would be the 1st to the 14th you were talking about. Yeah. That's when your weight is your lowest, you know that? And that's why, because your energy's up and everything's working the best. So imagine if you did your workouts at that point too.
Yeah.
So now we'll talk about, though, after all that, because now I know this woman.
And then isn't in the later phases too, like that's when like the cravings spike too.
Oh
right?
yeah, everything. You're just body. You're just a mess. Yeah. And the thing is like, that's what happens. Your energy, it takes your oxygen, and it takes, you start to get exhausted. But that's
fatigue,
exactly what you were saying. As it gets closer, you start to feel it. You feel that whole switch. Now, after menopause, when this no longer happens, now you have to think about, you don't even have those spikes anymore.
Yeah.
So that's where I think people really struggle. And, I wrote this in my book, is that, this is when you have to get on like that schedule of like, this is what I'm doing. And no, every day you're not going to feel good. You'll feel good after. You'll always feel great after you go for that run, after you lift those weights. But you may not have that same energy before you start. And it's not always just mental. A lot of times it's physical. You don't have it because you don't have those spikes anymore with your estrogen, Yeah.
Isn't it funny, though, that like me being a man and not going through any of that, why is it that sometimes even I'll text you and be like, I don't know if I have it. And you're like, just go. You'll feel better. I even feel better because I didn't have it beforehand. But as soon as I do like the first, second set, I'm like, oh, I'm on. I'm on. So it's like you almost spike your own body.
Well, I think you wake up your body. Yeah, you spike it, you wake it up, you know. And, of course, you have always, no matter where you are in life, what age, what your body's going through, your mindset is always going to be a part of it.
It's so funny. I was just going to say, the only difference, though, is for me, it's all about my mindset. I really have no excuse. Whereas a woman, I just listed a bunch that I don't know how I can do. I don't know how I do it, to be honest, which is the thing, like, I give a lot of credit to. You really, like, on top of how hard it is already to stay in shape and go to the gym every day consistently, I wouldn't even know where to begin if I had to base it around a hormonal period where I would have to actually go coinciding with my body's, like the physiology of my body, like the construction. I would not know what day it was.
And then, when these women are going through perimenopause, like it's taking that great schedule that you just said, like the first through the 15 days, and it's all over the place. All over the place.
I was just going to say, it's probably not even
3 days,
as concrete
5
as
days,
like,
2 days, and that's why people get it's so confusing to the body, and you're trying to stay fit, lose weight, and I do tell people, listen, if you can do it before you hit menopause, you're going to have so much of an easier time. Because you're, even before perimenopause, because you're at least have some type of schedule in your body. You know what your body's doing, and it's working for you. Perimenopause, your body starts fighting you. Menopause, it's like it's almost can be your enemy sometimes. I
actually didn't know that. Is that just educate me a little bit on that? Like so say you were like, like take you for instance, if that's okay. Like, you're a marathon runner your whole life. You've always been a runner. You've always been active. I've never actually ever seen you, like, I think even, like, be a different weight, like my whole life, And I was going to say, like, does how you are before menopause affect your menopause personally?
Yes.
Does that mean? You
Yes.
know what I mean?
1,000%.
Like say if, take two people, for instance, like you, and then take someone that might be overweight to the point where they're like, pushing, 180, 200 pounds or over, and they're considered like, close to obese. Would their menopause be, worse?
1,000%.
Because menopause
symptoms,
is like,
and
I don't want to
actually,
make it seem like menopause is a bad thing.
No, it's
because
just it's your changing.
Thing.
Yeah,
it's just your
body's changing. It's
so,
not a bad thing.
I mean,
there's
like
a lot of positive to it.
The consequences are, that even sounds bad, but like, you know what I mean, right?
No, it's 1,000%.
It's not a bad thing, but
it's not.
Just,
There's a lot of positive to it, mentally, physically. But
Yep.
Getting to that point. Yes, I even wrote this in my book, so it's funny that you bring it up.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you read it, but
no, I did. That's why I brought it up.
okay.
Yeah.
But
because I was making sure that I was asking you to educate me, because I was making sure that I read that right.
Yes, so I actually didn't have a lot of symptoms because I run all the time, because I kept my weight. But people who are
Did
overweight,
you know when you were going through it?
yes,
though? Okay.
yes, oh yeah, you definitely know.
Okay.
Yeah, Dad probably knew really well. But that's but that's the thing. Like, you really you have your symptoms are so much worse when you're not in good shape, when you're not in good health. And listen, unfortunately, it's the truth. When you are obese, you're not in good health.
Yeah.
And your body's going to fight against you. Where when you're in good health and you are taking care of your body and you're doing the right things, and listen, you're still going to get symptoms, but you're going to get a lot less of them.
Yep.
And for a lot of people, I talk to them all the time. Sometimes they don't get nearly as much. And unfortunately, to make it even worse, the fat that you're trying to lose after menopause is so resistant to come off. So that's why I say really work hard to do it before or even during, because after, it will happen. You can do it. I have clients who do it all the time, but it's hard and it's slow.
Wow.
So you have to have the patience through it.
Wow.
But, well, I think we answered the question. And don't
I
forget
hope
the
so.
olive oil. It's
if we
really
didn't,
important.
I'd be embarrassed. All that. Oh, yeah, the question. No, but yeah, I hope that helps, though.
No,
But,
I think it helps.
Again, though, like that question, if anybody has any questions or any topics that we want to talk about, that they want to hear us talk about or need any advice with, you can always send them into our Instagram page. On top of that, though, please remember, always stop in at Innovation at 8025 Jericho Turnpike, Woodbury, New York, or visit our website, innovationhealthymarket.com, or call the store, 516-802-5055. We're open 7 days a week and are always there to help you with your shopping, orders, weight loss needs. When you come in, ask for me, Jake. I'll be happy to show you around the store, or if you're looking for a one-on-one plan, I can make your first free consultation with Josephine.
And remember to love yourself through every stage of your journey. Because, listen, if you're waking up and breathing, that's really all you need. Have a great one, everyone.